Hello there. Welcome to GCSE Chemistry. We're still on acids, bases, and salts. Today we're going to see ways in which we can identify ions and gases. Practical ways in which we can identify that certain ions are contained in solutions. Now, without wasting much time, let's see what we have for today. Test of metal ions. Now, metal ions produce white precipitates. Sometimes you're going to see the word PPT used in the notes. When you see the word PPT, I'm talking about precipitates. They produce white precipitates with aqueous sodium hydroxide. When you put sodium hydroxide in solution, we call it aqueous sodium hydroxide. When you dissolve sodium hydroxide in water. Now, when you mix these two, they are going to produce white precipitates. Now, you need to carry out a second test using dilute ammonia solution. The first test is going to produce a certain result, but you are going to need to carry out a different test, a second test using dilute ammonia solution. Now, why is the second test important? It is important or necessary because the result of the first test can be the same for some metals. The result of the first test, where the metal ion reacts with the sodium hydroxide, can be the same for some metals. So the second test will then give us a clear distinction between the two. Now, what is a precipitate or a PPT? A precipitate is a substance deposited in the solid form from a solution. So here, the solution exists in this color. Once you put the aqueous sodium hydroxide, drops of aqueous sodium hydroxide in there, they are going to form solid components that are going to settle at the bottom. So these are what we call precipitates.